her.
Also tonight, new fallout from reporting we brought you on dozens of top secret emails found on Hillary Clinton's server. A new report indicates that some of the emails contained information about controversial drone strikes. This is the stuff that's even more secret than top secret. And earlier tonight, the Weekly Standard's Stephen Hayes said if anyone else had information like that, he's being told by professionals they would not be treated with kid gloves.
I talked to 3 national security lawyers who deal with this for a living. I mean, this is all they do today. And they all said, without exception, there's no question this person would have lost her clearances if this were a senior GS 14 or 15 employee, probably would have lost his or her job, and possibly would have already been indicted.
Judge Andrew Napolitano is our Fox News senior judicial analyst. Do you agree with that?
I do. I would actually go a couple of steps further than Steve and suggest that Mrs. Clinton should be consulting very high-powered national security criminal defense lawyers, that is, criminal defense lawyers who have national security clearances so they can see the evidence against her, to negotiate with the FBI, because the case against her is overwhelming, damning, and from her perspective, grave. And when she says there's no there, when she laughs about it, when she says this is the re-suggesting of an old New York Times story, she's effectively mocking the 100 FBI agents that are investigating her.
Even today, she said that she never sent or received classified information.
That infuriates me, Megan, because that's a word game when she says, I neither sent nor received anything marked classified. I'm making the quotation marks with my fingers, because nothing is marked classified. It is marked confidential, secret, top secret. And under top secret, there are 4 submarkings, the most sensitive of which is this select access privilege, which is what 24 of her emails had on there. That is the most secret information the government has.
But unlike David Petraeus, her supporters are saying she didn't willingly, she's not being accused of willingly sharing this information with people. That's what he did when he gave this information to his biographer. And so if she was merely negligent in not protecting it, criminal charges?
Absolutely. I happen to think that intent should be an element of criminal charges. That's just me. This particular law expressly says intent is not an element, meaning the government doesn't have to prove that she intended. Her negligent treatment of national security secrets, her failure to safeguard and store national security secrets
on a server that the Russians and the Chinese may have hacked into.
Correct. Can be the basis for a criminal prosecution. We're not talking about one. We're not talking about a loose leaf in a desk like General Petraeus. We're talking about hundreds.
They're saying 2 things tonight. First of all, they're saying they think that this Inspector General for the intelligence community who is Obama's appointment, is in cahoots with the Republicans to hurt her with leaks. And secondly, they are saying this stuff that we're all treating as like so scary, it's stuff that could have appeared in a newspaper, that the CIA would treat classified information as classified, even like if it's about a drone strike and it appears in the New York Times, but it's also in her email, they'd say that's classified.
There's a bona fide argument to be made that the government classifies too much information, but not at the SAP category. That is the highest level of classification. Do you know what type of information is in there? The names of moles, black ops, that is, secret programs that the government wants to deny the existence of. For her to have put that on an open server while she's the Secretary of State is absolutely grossly negligent and must be the basis for an indictment.
It's getting more dangerous for her on that side. Judge, good to see you.
Likewise.
Well, the growing controversy surrounding Mrs. Clinton's emails, along with her plummeting poll numbers, are leading to some speculation that she could possibly drop out. If she does, what does that mean? Chris Direwaltz is our Fox News digital politics editor. Is there any real chance of that?
Well, I think drop out maybe isn't the right term. Forced out, or the president has to come out with an ether-soaked rag and just sort of take her off of the stage very slowly as she goes away. I don't think she's going to wake up and say, boy, this is just not working out. I'll smell you later.
You know, if she were smart, she would. She'd say, I'm done. This sucks.
Every time I try to run, you people are terrible to me, and I'm over it. I hate
running for public office.
Thank God I have $250 million, and you suckers can go away.
All right, so let's go into this, possibility that something happens. The FBI says she needs to be prosecuted, and Obama's DOJ says, yeah, we're going to do it. What happens then? Bernie Sanders has got it?
It depends on when. So if it happened, if Hillary Clinton were indicted and the president basically said, for the good of the party, you got to go. If that happens before she has clinched the nomination, because as it goes, I know Bernie Sanders is having a great time in Iowa and New Hampshire. The delegate count is so good for her, and she's going to wrap it up fairly early. But if it happens before, let's say April, or let's say middle of April, and the delegates aren't allocated and the nomination's still up for grabs, it would be awfully hard for the Democrats to deny Bernie Sanders the nomination, because he'd be the guy that was in the race and he'd go on and win it. And then the Democrats would sob softly into their hands and lose the presidency. Mm-hmm. Now, the other way that it goes is she has locked up the nomination. She is indicted or somehow forced to leave the race. And that means you go to a convention. And it's crazy town. It's totally crazy town.
Because Joe Biden is like, remember me? Remember how much I said I regretted not running?
Exactly.
But now all the delegates are pledged to Bernie Sanders in this hypothetical.
No.
Well, Joe Biden's not on any of the ballots in any of the states.
But if she leaves the race and she releases her delegates, and the Democrats have a ton of super delegates, they have a lot of unpledged delegates. Anyway, if she leaves the race and her delegates are now unbound, they can go do whatever they want.
If he had to announce by this certain date because he wasn't going to get his name on the ballots in certain states.
He would never have to run. He would, and under that scenario, if she was ousted prior to the convention, but after she had locked up enough delegates for the nomination and the primaries were over, you just go to an open convention. So it's like Debbie
Wasserman Schultz can just write a check saying she's out, here Joe Biden's in, and then
you just start balloting.
She'd feel the burn if she did it.
She would totally feel the burn. But the scenario that works most like the one you're describing is after the convention and Hillary Clinton is the nominee, anytime between the end of July and Election Day, if she is forced out at that point, then the Democrats get to sort of make up the rules as they go, and that's when you send a fruit basket to Debbie Wasserman Schultz and say, for all the terrible things that we ever said about you, we're so sorry, and you're so brilliant and wise.
You know what? This David Benioff has nothing on this scenario. Game of Thrones, this is like, forget it. This is the real Game of Thrones. Great to see you.
The real deal. You bet.
Unbelievable. Wow.